Dead by Daylight forever. So maybe if they change the wording and they work out some wording in the contract, we're able to get a killer like Jason's just under the condition that Friday the 13th could remove him later on and he's not just like permanently in the game. Behavior just hosted and Ask Me Anything. Here's everything you need to know. Fog Vials are getting nerfed prior to going live, mainly by nerfing the most powerful add-on, the Potent Extract. The changes to Clown and Knight are getting reverted back to normal after a ton of backlash. Skull Merchant, Trickster, Myers, and Trapper are all slated for a rework, but it doesn't sound like any of that's happening until 2026. An urban map might be on the way, but probably not until 2026. You will be able to see teammates' perks in your lobby in the future, but not until, you guessed it, 2026. A lot of information was thrown our way, and I just wanted to make sure you knew. Behavior just hosted and Ask Me Anything. Here's
What's this then? Let's get out of here.
هي دي مش حاجة غريبة؟ ليه لغاية دلوقتي لسه الانترنت في مصر بالعداد؟ وليه لحد دلوقتي انت لسه بتفكر قبل ما تشغل يوتيوب؟ وليه بتقلل الجودة؟ هي دي مش حاجة غريبة، ليه لغاية دلوقتي لسه الانترنت في مصر بالعداد؟ وليه لحد دلوقتي انت لسه بتفكر قبل ما تشغل يوتيوب؟ وليه بتقلل الجودة عشان الباقة ما تطيرش؟ طيب ليه بنسمي نفسنا في عصر الرقمنة واحنا لسه بنعد الجيجا؟ وازاي دول تانية فتحت الانترنت بالكامل وشركاتها بتكسب ازاي؟ وهل فعلا المشكلة في البنية التحتية ولا في سياسة متعمدة بتخلي الانترنت دايما ناقص في مصر؟ النهاردة في الموسيون هنعلي الجودة ونتكلم بس لما تخلص الباقة يا السرعة بتقع خالص يا بتضطر تشتري باقة إضافية. ناس كتير بتسأل طب ليه النت بيخلص؟ هو مش المفروض يشتغل عادي طول الشهر؟ الحكاية بدأت من شركات الانترنت اللي شافت ان الباقة نظام يخليهم يتحكموا اكتر في استهلاك المستخدم وفي نفس الوقت يفتح باب انهم يبيعوا باقات إضافية ويكسبوا.
How could this be any fun for anybody? It's certainly not fun for me.
سابوا اكتر خلال الشهر نفسه. بس الحقيقة ان الفكرة دي مش مناسبة للعصر اللي احنا فيه. احنا بقينا بنشتغل وبنتعلم وبنتسلى وبنتواصل من على الانترنت، فالباقة بتخلص في اول اسبوع لو استخدمت اليوتيوب او النت العادي بشكل يومي. الناس بتدفع فلوس كتير مقابل خدمة بتنتهي بسرعة، وده بيخلي ناس كتير تحس ان الخدمة لا تليق بالسعر ولا بالزمن اللي احنا فيه. فليه الانترنت ما يبقاش مفتوح؟ ليه ما يبقاش غير محدود؟ خصوصا ان البنية التحتية بقت اقوى من زمان. الشركات اول ما طبقت فكرة الباقات بقت بتتحكم في استهلاك الناس للانترنت. كل ما الباقة تخلص المستخدم بيضطر يشحن تاني، سواء بكروت او من خلال الفاتورة. يعني كل ما تقعد على يوتيوب شوية زيادة او تشغل نتفليكس الباقة بتطير وانت بتدفع اكتر، وده طبعا دخل ثابت ومتجدد بالنسبة للشركات. غير كده النظام ده بيخلي الناس تشتري باقات اعلى عشان يريحوا دماغهم، وده معناه اسعار اعلى حتى لو السرعة واحدة. يعني بدل ما ياخدوا اشتراك ثابت بفلوس ثابتة شهريا ويستخدم براحته، لا، بتقعد تراقب الاستهلاك وكأنك ماشي بعربية على بنزين بالعافية. والمقهر في الموضوع ان ده بيخلي المستخدم يحس دايما انه مش مالك الانترنت، وانه لازم يبقى حاسس بالذنب لو فتح فيديوهات كتير. وكل ده بيصب في مصلحة الشركات، دخل اعلى وتحكم اكبر. علشان كده في ناس كتير بتفكر ان سبب عدم وجود انترنت غير محدود في مصر هو ان البنية التحتية عندنا مش مستحملة. يعني مثلا عدد الكابلات، جودة الشبكات او توزيع الابراج مش بالكفاءة اللي تخلي الشبكة تتحمل استهلاك مفتوح من الناس كلها في نفس الوقت. لكن ده جزء من الصورة، بس في جزء تاني بقى، وده هو الاهم، الا وهو السياسات، سواء سياسات الدولة أو سياسات شركات الاتصالات. الشركات ساعات بتفضل تخلي الخدمة محدودة علشان تحافظ على السيطرة وتزود دخلها من الباقات بدل ما تدي للمستخدم حرية كاملة في الاستهلاك. أما الدولة فهي كمان ليها دور سواء في تنظيم السوق أو في توسيع البنية التحتية. فلو مفيش ضغط حقيقي أو إرادة سياسية واضحة لتطوير الخدمة، هتفضل الشركات تشتغل بالطريقة اللي تناسبها هي، مش اللي تناسب المستخدم. يعني الموضوع مش بس تكنولوجيا مش مساعدانا، لا، ده في اختيارات مقصودة بتتعمل سواء لدوافع الانترنت المحدود اللي تعتبر وصمة عار في 2025 للأسف فيه ودول كتير كمان وظروفها الاقتصادية قريبة من مصر، وفي نفس الوقت الانترنت عندهم برضه مش مفتوح، زي مثلا الهند، الفلبين، نيجيريا، باكستان. في بلاد كتير من دول العالم الثالث لسه بتتعامل بنظام الباقات، وده مش عشان مفيش تقنية، لكن غالبا بسبب نفس التركيبة، بنية تحتية لسه بتتطور وشركات بتستفيد أكتر من تحديد الاستهلاك. بس خد بالك من حاجة بقى هنا، ده في فرق كبير في أسعار الباقات وجودتها. في دول زي الهند مثلا الشركات بتتنافس جامد وبتدي باقات ضخمة بأسعار رمزية جدا، وده ضغطهم وخلاهم يوسعوا البنية التحتية ويزودوا الخدمة. يعني باختصار مصر مش لوحدها في النظام ده، بس في بلاد تانية بدأت تتعامل بذكاء وخلت المنافسة تخلي الأسعار أقل والخدمة أحسن. المشكلة مش بس إن في نظام باقات، بل المشكلة كمان في إن الباقات مش عادلة ولا بتواكب احتياجات الناس.
Want to create your own AI-powered application? Join the Langflow Hackathon and compete for $40,000 in prizes. Langflow is the low-code tool that lets you build your AI agents and workflows using any API, model, or database, all without advanced programming knowledge. This competition is open to
وعلى العكس بقى، انت عندك دول اكتر بكتير فتحت النت وشعوبها بيستمتعوا بانترنت غير محدود، زي المانيا وامريكا وكندا، حتى كوريا الجنوبيه الانترنت عندهم غير محدود تماما، بتدفع اشتراك شهري ثابت وبتستخدم براحتك بقى، تحميل، ستريمينج، شغل، مفيش عداد بيعد وراك. طيب ازاي عملوا كده؟ اول حاجه البنيه التحتيه عندهم قويه جدا، الشبكات متوصله بالالياف الضوئيه والسرعات العاليه. تاني حاجه في منافسه قويه بين الشركات، يعني كل شركه بتحاول تقدم احسن خدمه باقل سعر عشان تكسب المستخدمين مش تحتكر السوق. كمان في رقابه من الدوله بتنظم الاسعار وجوده الخدمه وتحمي المستهلك، وعشان الشركات تكسب بيقدموا خدمات تانية زي التلفزيون الارضي او الباقات العائليه او خدمات الشركات والمؤسسات. يعني المعادله كالتالي: الاستثمار في الشبكة زائد منافسة حقيقية زائد تنظيم حكومي هيساوي لنا انترنت غير محدود ومربح كمان. طب هو المستخدم المصري بيستهلك الانترنت ازاي مقارنة بالمستخدم الاجنبي؟ المستخدم المصري بطبيعته بيستخدم الانترنت بشكل مكثف جدا، خصوصا مع انتشار السوشيال ميديا، اليوتيوب والتيك توك والمسلسلات اونلاين. يعني ممكن تلاقي شاب فاتح فيديوهات طول اليوم وطالب بيذاكر من كورسات اونلاين، او حتى
It's pretty safe to say that the current state of Dead by Daylight is not very good. From a new license perk giving iframes, making the game currently pay to win, to a list of bugs so large I could make an entire video just doing a showcase. But the craziest part is that we veterans know that this is not the first time bugs like this have existed in the game, or new content was released in a broken state. Back when the first Resident Evil chapter was released, the game was actually unplayable, as it constantly crashed for console players. Or how about the Twins chapter release, which had 4 out of the 6 perks be bugged, along with a killer that barely worked. These bugs are so common during new releases that at this point, we as a community started making jokes about them. We expect them. But when compared to other live service games, the state of Dead by Daylight is absolutely pathetic. So why
You're 1 in a million. Thanks. Whatever I did, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Why does this game break so consistently, and when will it get fixed? Well, there is actually a clear answer as to why DBD is such a mess, and the answer is actually very problematic, as it shows why fixing this game is not a simple task at all. In fact, I would argue that Dead by Daylight is currently unfixable by design. So instead of doing the classic essay move of going back to 2016 and explaining the origin of the company and the game for the 10th time in my channel, let me cut to the chase. Dead by Daylight was simply not designed with a good foundation to last for almost a decade. And this is not a secret. The devs have said plenty of times that Dead by Daylight's success was capturing lightning in a bottle. And this is obvious if you take a look at any other project done by Behavior like Death Garden or Meteor Maker, all of which have already died. They cannot replicate the success because DBD is truly a special game. Behavior at first only did games for other companies. According to Matthew Cote, the game director at that time, the game was just a fun project done in between their other work just to break even, not even a main project.
When you started with DBD, did you ever think it would make it this far?
Yes, of course. I was certain of it. No, that's completely ridiculous. I mean, we were, even as a studio, we were mostly a studio doing games for other people, right? Behavior has been doing that for 30 years now. This was just a fun project that we were able to do sort of in between other work, and honestly, we were hoping to break even.
The game was created by a peak of 30 people in their company, and some of the most crucial mechanics in the game, like the tutorials and even the blood web system, were added 2 months before the official release. To top it all off, we know that the devs used a coding system that is not very good for expanding an online PvP game. In an interview done to technical director Fadi Beiruti and creative director Dave Richards, the devs have stated that they use the blueprint coding system of Unreal Engine in order to accelerate the development of the game. For those of you unaware, the blueprint system is a way to visually code games that makes it pretty easy to do compared to coding them in a different programming language, and is used by many game developers for their small projects. The problem of this system is that the more complex mechanics you add to your game and the more you expand on it, your entire coding web becomes an entangled mess of wires and connections that make it very hard to keep track of everything. This is where the spaghetti coding meme comes from, because in the case of Dead by Daylight, the game is actually, unironically, coded like spaghetti, or at least it was back in the days, as the devs have said various times that they did start to rewrite parts of the game into C++. Now, it's pretty clear to see how comparing this game to another one like Marvel Rivals or any other AAA serious online game is completely
I expected more. Poor performance indeed.
Completely pointless, because not only are the companies bigger overall compared to the 30 devs that made the original game back in 2016, all of those multiplayer games are designed with the mentality of being games played for years, and more so, even compete with games like Overwatch or Counter-Strike, and not a passion project like Dead by Daylight was. The game's inherent poor relic coding from that age shows in every single update. Rework the add-ons of Pyramid Head, and now suddenly his punishment of the damn flicks appear on the sides instead of straight. Add Rick Grimes to the game, and now suddenly going on the right part of a stair upwards will slow you down. Something that I even see in every release is how the community asks the devs if they even playtest the game. The thing is, with how variable the game was designed to be, playtesting every single thing in the game is impossible to do before each release. At any point, due to the spaghetti coding of the game, it is entirely possible that a specific add-on from a killer breaks, like is the case with the Hag's Aura Reveal add-ons, but there are almost 1,000 of them to be tested. There is a chance that suddenly a perk will break against a specific killer power, like Vigil does for Freddy Krueger, but there are thousands of builds to test. Or a killer interactable breaks when spawned in a specific map that also needs a specific seed to spawn in a way which results in the xenomorph being stuck after exiting a tunnel, and there are literally millions of map variations to work with. This variability makes the game future-proof in terms of fun, and it was viable in the past, but nowadays it is an absolute nightmare to keep track of or to even recreate specific bugs in order to fix the game. That's not even talking about the potential perk combos that could happen. Imagine being the person that has to playtest every single perk combination in order to find out the exploit with keys and streetwise, or the Sprint Burst Blood Rush exploit. I am sure there are even more exploits still waiting to be discovered currently in the game. Each update exponentially makes playtesting worse. At this point, I don't blame the devs for having us, the community, playtest their patches. It is straight up impossible to test every single thing with how much variations the game has and keeps adding. That doesn't excuse the fact that any bugs that we find in the PTB must be fixed before release, because then there is no point in having a PTB in the first place. The worst part is that they added a kill switch feature that they are also not using for some reason, and this is just talking about the coding itself of the game, and the variables it has which make bug fixing so hard. But what about the actual systems of the game baked in it that are straight up impossible to fix? Well, let's talk about the design choices from 2016 that currently make the game worse nowadays, with no fix whatsoever possible. In the beginning, we had 4 survivors and 3 killers. So in order to pad out the game, each perk was created with 3 tiers in mind, in order to give a reason for players to grind and make their characters stronger. Each character had 3 perks, and so in total the game had 21 teachable perks and 25 general perks, all multiplied by 3, so that's 138 perks you had to unlock if you wanted to have everything grinded. Nowadays, we have 294 unique perks in the game, and 882 perks if you count tiers. Each character released meant there were 9 perk tiers added to the blood webs, cluttering them more and more. Each chapter release made the game worse and worse for new players that joined at that time, and that's on top of the fact that the prestige system removed every single thing you had unlocked for that character, so the grind was absurdly massive due to the fact that the game was never designed to last for that long. Perks, due to their requirement of continuity's difference, is just in how far you can see the created with feet on the ground mechanics. So this means a flying killer or a killer crawling on walls would never happen because the maps and the game's code simply doesn't allow it.
And so these conversations have to happen early on, and we go, these are the rules. Like there's no, like your character cannot walk on the ceiling because our game will.
And this modeling issue is also visible in the way the cosmetic system was created for the game. All characters, no matter who they are forced to be divided into 3 categories, which for the most part are head, torso, and pants or weapons for killers. For some killers like Nemesis or Dracula, this division is ridiculous. For other survivors, that have a lot of accessories like backpacks, hats or the anniversary crowns, 3 is not enough. Then we have the prestige system, where the prestige is not just a toggle that you can apply to all cosmetics. They are individually made, which prevents legendary characters from having it unless they remake them again. This was viable back when the game had little characters and no cosmetic store, but very bad nowadays. So if you don't like the default look of a character, you're stuck with it if you prestige. And if you like a legendary character like Geralt of Rivia, you cannot change his cosmetics either. And perhaps the biggest example of this flaw is how cosmetic powers took 8 years to make, with Houndmaster being currently the only killer with this. There is no way to customize the Fire Axe Springtrap throws, the hatchets of the Huntress, or the traps of the Trapper. And the reason why this is the case is very absurd. But basically, the killer powers are coded in the same way as items, and I am not kidding. Killers spawn with their powers as items, which is why the add-on system is the same. We know this because in the past, there was a glitch that made some killers drop the
Ah!